I think that education is a huge part of daily life, but it's not a huge part of political conversation in Ontario today. And when you talk to people who are in schools, whether that be students or educators or parents who are deeply concerned, there's a lot of concerns that schools aren't doing the job and they aren't getting the serious attention they need to thrive and support our kids to be ready for a big, scary future.
Annie, last time you were on the show, I understand you said we are not paying enough attention to education. Why is the political discourse not around education?
Well, it's kind of a great question, and there have been provincial and territorial elections that have been happening across Canada, and education has never been sort of one of the top issues, except for some kind of semi-controversial parts. So I think as a society, we have a tendency to sort of take our public schools for granted, even though more than 90% of our kids go to them. We don't understand the kind of foundational job they do in our social and economic future, and we just sort of go, they're there, whatever, they're not sexy, maybe even not as sexy as post-secondary education. So they don't seem to, except in a crisis like the pandemic, when they were in the news every day, they don't seem to get on the radar as a fundamental issue, which to me is even more amazing right now when the world is so messy. And obviously, I think we really should be paying attention to our schools as a place where we could be building more resilience in this sort of messy world.
Why do you think post-secondary education is not getting the headlines it should maybe getting during this election cycle? Elizabeth, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, certainly. I think that voters are distracted. There are just simply more politically pressing issues. There's the tariffs and there's healthcare crises. And, post-secondary education always has to vie with other sectors for attention. And so even though, we are in crisis in many ways, the other issues are more pressing. And I will also add that many of the individuals, the international students themselves, whose lives have been upended by these policies, are not voters. And so it is an issue that sort of has undue influence on people who aren't participating in the election.
But this will impact domestic students too.
Certainly, it will. But again, post-secondary education is a much smaller proportion of people are in post-secondary at any one time. So it's less sort of on their radar than K-12, for example. And so unfortunately, that won't be the case. If you have kids in schools now, you're going to need a strong post-secondary, college and university sector in the future, but it might not be on your, the top of mind right now.
And Anne?
I think what people have cared about post-secondary education when they have a child or a family member who's ready to go to post-secondary, and they care that they have a spot for that family member, and they care that the tuition is reasonable. To date, the colleges and the universities in Ontario have done a great job. They've been able to weather the storms. They've had capacity available to take those kids. And so it hasn't been an issue. It hasn't risen to the crisis level that we're probably likely to be facing in the short order. And it's never, frankly, polled well. I've talked to a lot of people who have worked on the political side of the just political side, and they always say it just doesn't poll well, because if there's capacity there, if your kid or your family member is going to get a spot, cost is reasonable, I don't have to worry about it. But now we're at a point where I don't think the colleges, especially, and the universities, are going to be able to recover from this total onslaught of issues to deal with.
So if families care about this issue when it impacts their own, what about the labor market? What about governments? This is something that will impact everybody at some point, no?
I just don't think governments care about growth anymore. Like, I don't see government anywhere in this country making serious efforts to increase productivity, to increase output. What they care about is dollars in pockets. You get these very short-term affordability discussions. There's nothing about investing for the future.